Welcome. I'm Martin Sowiński from Poland. I'm a doctor, naturopath, and I will say today about glutathione. This is one of miracle molecule for in our immunity. I think so. Strongest antioxidant. Glutathione often is referred to as a mother of all antioxidants. It is one of the most important biochemical compounds in our body. Its structure is unique and function make it essential for cellular health. Chemical structure, this glutathione composed is composed of 3 amino acids, cysteine, glycine, and glutamic acid. And it is a powerful antioxidant. It is unique structure that allows to perform many key functions in the body, most notably acting as a powerful antioxidant. This is the molecule of life. Glutathione play a key role in maintaining health and boosting immunity. What we can say about glutathione? For infection, it is more important molecule because the presence of glutathione is essential for proper function of lymphocytes, which play a key role in fighting infection and cancer too. Pathogens, glutathione also support the activity of macrophages and natural killer cells, which are responsible for identifying and destroying pathogens and cancer cells. And glutathione neutralizes free radicals. The role of glutathione is to neutralize free radicals, which can damage cell and lead to weakened immunity. So, glutathione, its levels decrease with age. We can eat some vegetables like broccoli, cabbage, and Brussels sprouts, and they are rich in sulfur compounds that promote glutathione production. We can eat avocados and asparagus, and other products can promote synthesis in the body of glutathione. And we can do intravenous infusion of glutathione or supplementation. But I think the most important way to give to the cell glutathione, the more important is nanotechnology. It is something incredible. Glutathione support. Glutathione influences processes cellular by modulating intracellular signaling, highlighting its importance for health and longevity. It is very important. T lymphocyte support. T lymphocytes recognize and destroy infected cells and coordinates the action of other immunocells. Glutathione promotes their activation, which is essential for an effective response of a viral and bacterial infection. At the molecular level, glutathione acts as coenzyme in many enzyme reactions, and key cells recognize and destroy cancer cells and those infected with viruses. Glutathione support the activity which is key to maintaining health and preventing cancer. In the context of autoimmune diseases, glutathione may play a modulating role. Autoimmune diseases are characterized by an overactive immune system that attacks the body with own cells. Glutathione increase in immunity through mitochondria. Glutathione protects mitochondria from oxidative stress, which is essential for maintaining the function and the health of the body. Healthy mitochondria are crucial for effective immune response, and as they provide the energy needed to fight infection, and glutathione increases the ATP level. Glutathione level in blood, we can do this investigation in Poland, and more people after 40 years have a lower level of glutathione in the blood. And we can recognize that we have a decreased level of reduced glutathione too. It is very important that after nanotechnology, taking glutathione in nanotechnology, the levels are higher than before. This is very, very interesting. I observed many times this question in my patients. Studies have shown the people with reduced glutathione levels are more susceptible to viral and bacterial infections. Further understanding this important for health, very, very important. And laboratory studies have shown that elevated glutathione levels in soil can inhibit the replication of certain viruses, including the influenza virus, COVID-19 virus, and others. The glutathione can improve activation of genes, and after that, genes that products enzymes and cytokines. Cytokines, anti-inflammatory, are low. They have lower level, and after glutathione, it inhibits expression of pro-inflammatory. This is a modulating role. It is very important for our immune system. Glutathione protection against viruses. During infections such as influenza, HIV infection, the immune system is particularly stressed, and cytokine production is key to fighting pathogens. Glutathione work to move these viruses from cells. Interferon. Glutathione supports immunity by increasing the production of antiviral cytokines such as interferon gamma, which helps eliminate viruses from the body. And in addition, glutathione can support the function of natural killer cells, which are crucial in the fight against viral infections and cancers too. When we are infected and have inflammation, we have cytokine storm. This is evidence that glutathione can affect the so-called cytokine storm, which is the uncontrolled and excessive production of cytokines leading to severe tissue damage. During COVID-19, an excessive immune response can lead to damage to the lung and other organs. In hepatitis, in chronic hepatitis, glutathione supplementation leads to reduced levels of pro-inflammatory cytokines. It is very interesting that glutathione can improve to microbiome by supporting healthy intestinal flora. Glutathione indirectly affects the production of cytokines by intestinal cells, which can have far-reaching effects of the body overall immunity. And by the way, glutathione is also moved in regulation calcium levels in mitochondria too. And I'm so happy that I could say something about glutathione. I observed very, very interesting improvement and what glutathione can do to my patients. And so I'm so grateful for all and for this unique technique that nanotechnology gives the glutathione to us. Thank you very much. Thank you a lot. Greetings from Poland for everybody.
Hi, good morning. My name is Luis Valdez, and we're going to share with you some information about the experience that I have been having with the NUMI products. My background is a ear, nose, and throat doctor, trained in Cuba, and licensed hearing specialist in the United States, and National Board Certified in Hearing Instrument Science. I'm part of the Medical Advisory Board of NUMI, and we're going to the presentation that we titled today, The Master Antioxidant and Cellular Shield Protecting Against Hearing Loss, Tinnitus, and Balance Disorders. Glutathione, that's the main word that we're going to use during this presentation, and we consider glutathione with oxygen the most valuable molecules on Earth. There is no life on Earth without them. And we have a little slide talking about myself. As I mentioned to you, I have been over 18 years of experience educating on oxidative stress and the importance of glutathiones across 5 continents through presentations that we have been doing since 2007 with the previous companies on precursor of glutathione, and today's with the latest technology and nanoabsorption from NUMI. And I have been graduated as an ear, nose, and throat doctor in 1990. I finished MD. In 1993, I finished otorhinolaryngologist. And since I came here to America in 1995, I became licensed hearing specialist and national board certification in 1997. And I have been involved with the Florida Hearing Society and International Hearing Society. When I studied medicine, it captured my attention that we only mentioned critical elements to survive at the cellular level. That was oxygen, water, and food. In this case, the minimum expression of food is glucose. But we were having at that time very lack information, very small information about the missing link that is actually the one that guarantees the cellular protection, and this is glutathione. It's a new word probably for a lot of doctors because in the 1980s, basically we didn't mention anything about the master protector of the cell, but it's like talking about a book of different elevations or mountains, and we only dedicated one single paragraph to the mountain of Everest. And that's exactly what is happening with the glutathione. Glutathione is actually most critical than the other 3 elements, because if you don't have glutathione, the cell actually dies. And if we don't have enough amount of glutathione, the cells are severely impaired in its function. Glutathione is considered today the most studied molecule by the medical science, molecular biology, and biochemistry. Right now, this presentation was prepared a couple of days ago, and I found over 194,518 articles, published studies that actually validate the importance of glutathione in PubMed, which is the National Library of Medicine. According to the expert opinion, Dr. Oz, that we know that has a health program dedicated for a TV show dedicated for health, I remember he dedicating one entire program to glutathione, and this expression captured my attention when he said that it's the most powerful antioxidant that you ever have, that you ever heard of. That it's the most powerful antioxidant that you have never heard of. And it's one of the key to fighting off diseases that you fear the most, and it's called glutathione. Now I'll write it down because it's critically important. And that's related with what I mentioned before. Without glutathione, the cellular die in a matter of 2 minutes. And with enough amount of glutathione, it's difficult to perform their functions in our body. And we have other important experts like Mark Hyman that says that it's the most important molecule that we need to stay healthy and prevent disease. We have Dr. Colbert, that in his opinion, glutathione is a master Michael Jordan of antioxidants and detoxifiers in our body. And finally, Jimmy Goodman, that created a compendium of glutathione that says that it's your most powerful healing agent. Even if you're sick, the best effective partnering that you can do to recover faster is glutathione. My experience is that if you have optimal level of glutathione, you're going to rarely get sick. And if you get sick, you're going to recover faster compared with people that are not taking that approach. Glutathione is a master protector of the human cells composed for amino acids. There are 3 amino acids. It's tripeptide, glycine, cysteine, and glutamic acid. It's naturally producing our cells and tissues in our body until 21 years old. And it's crucial because it's responsible for more than 400 bodily processes, of which 15 of them are critical for human existence, with over 194,518 articles published in the last 100 years in PubMed, which is the National Library of Medicine, with more than 32 million publications. Glutathione plays a vital role protecting, detoxifying, and reducing the silent killer, which is cellular inflammation, as well in the creating of essential chemicals and proteins, and modulating and maximizing who protect us, which is the immune system. Decreased level of glutathione, and this is related with my specialty, that is hearing, the hearing healthcare provider in America. Decreased level of glutathione activity can lead to the increased susceptibility to the hair cells that's in the inner ear damage, resulting in sensory neural hearing loss, tinnitus, and vertigo due to oxidative stress, which is the silent killer in this situation. As we know, glutathione levels decline by 1 or 2% per year, about 8 to 12% per decade, even 15% per decade. That's why when you are 30 years old, you have 15% and less glutathione. When you have 40, you have 30%. When you're 50, you have 45% less. And glutathione decline, at the same time, they decline another 12 aging markers. Those bio markers indicate how healthy you are, how young you are, how much you perform, and mainly how much you recover on a regular basis. Glutathione's decline after 21, and by the age of 28, almost 12 of the biological markers of aging has been declined significantly, almost 70%. And this is important because when you know this, and you know that glutathione's decline by decade, about 12 to 15%, but at the same time, oxidative stress level due to the excessive amount of free radicals and the chemical load that we have, even at the umbilical cord blood at the moment of birth, they have been testing more than 200 chemicals in our blood. And that's why if we know that increase over time, at the same time, the amount of glutathione level decline, we have to proactively approach increasing glutathione levels, taking the best supplementations available in order to increase the master protector, the master detoxifier, the master anti-inflammatory, the one that protects, modulates, and boosts the immune system. At the same time, we try to have a healthy lifestyle, a good nutrition, exercise, etc., to decrease the chemical load that cause excessive production of amount of free radicals, and that creates an imbalance that can lead to oxidative stress. That's the one that affects the actual level of glutathione. Glutathione is considered the guardian of the cell, the human cell guardian, because it's producing every cell and tissue in our body. But also it's a master antioxidant because it neutralizes all the free radicals independent of the source composition and structure. It's a master cell detoxifier, taking out of the cells all the pollutants, chemicals, heavy metals, even poison that gets inside the cells through the air, the water, and the food and chemicals that we get in contact. It's a natural anti-inflammatory. My experience has been that over in the last 18 years, I have been seeing in the first month between 8 to 11 pounds of weight loss in patients. And that's even if we have supplementations that do not intend to treat, cure, eradicate disease, or even lose weight. By reducing cellular inflammation, the patient loses between 8 to 11 pounds. He also protects, modulates, and also maximizes the immune system. That is the one that protects us. And finally, reduce the cellular inflammation. We don't have a product that treats, cure, eradicate disease, but it's doing the best out there to fight the silent killer responsible for cellular inflammation that is not treated chronically will cause signs and symptoms that describe as diseases. Questions that we're going to have to understand the science. What are free radicals? How does your body fight against free radical? What is oxidized stress? Why glutathione is considered the master protector of the cell? Why is the detoxification process important? What is the function of glutathione detoxification? It's important to know that 65% of our body composition is oxygen. And that's important because after that we have 18%, 18.5% carbon, 9.5 hydrogen, and 3.5 nitrogen. And this is important because the main cause of free radicals, the main formation of free radical comes from oxygen. That's the price that we pay for breathing oxygen. It's a double-edged sword. Vital, nobody can be without them, but because being the most abundant in our body is the main source of ROS, radical oxygen species. And glutathione is the one that neutralizes those free radicals coming from oxygen, but not only from oxygen, for carbon, from hydrogen, for nitrogen, etc. And we have a very approach at the most basic element in our body. We know that there is a universe below atoms, but there is a huge universe above atoms. Well, at this level, we are conscious of keeping the structure and function in our body, is trying to keep those elements like atoms, as you know, has a nucleus, but also has orbits with electrons. If we have a missing electron, that creates an unstable and very reactive structure. That if we don't quench that situation, if we don't donate that electron right away, that will affect the subsequential or the next level on the structure in our body, which will be molecules, micromolecules, and cells. And in this case, if we protect this elemental element of constitution and function of our body, the atoms will work properly. If they are okay, then the next element, which is molecules, will be work okay at the same level. The next structural element will be cells, that is considered the structural and functional things, the smaller structural and functional thing in our body. Then if we protect the cells, the tissues will be fine. The same thing with our organs. And finally will be the systems, in this case, the auditory system. And the final step will be the human body. I mean, I like the proactive approach to keep the most basic element stable. And that happens when we provide enough glutathione that has plenty of electrons to donate to those substances that actually missing electron. And when they miss the electron, became a free radical. So becoming a free radical is very important to neutralize, to avoid to getting the upper hands in our internal antioxidant defense system, because when you're losing an electron, what they're going to do, that atom is stealing an electron to the next atoms that they have in place, and that creates a chain reaction, and that chain reaction, it will lead eventually to an excessive production of free radicals that if we don't content that unbalance over time, when they have the upper hand in relation with the normal antioxidant defense system, it will cause oxidized stress. And oxidized stress is the silent precursor of cellular inflammation. Definitely, cellular inflammation is a silent killer. Free radicals, by definition, are those elements that has a missing electron, and that, in that case, the oxygen, when you miss the electron, you form the superoxide free radical, and which is an unstable and very reactive molecule. They have to be neutralized by an antioxidant, and that's a term that we will use, and we're going to bet to the best antioxidant out there, which is glutathione. They will actually donate that missing electron, and that creates a new molecule that is going to be stable. There are two major sources of free radicals. We know the metabolic sources, just producing energy in our body. That leads to excessive production of metabolic sources of free radicals, mainly coming from oxygen, inflammation, infections, daily stress, and just the unhealthy diet and the simple conversion of food to energy produce metabolic sources of free radicals. For the other part, environmental source of free radicals, we don't have an idea how much and how frequently we're exposed to free radicals from environmental sources. The chemical load is so heavy that our cells attack 10,000 to 20,000 times per day. at the cellular level. And these are coming from acoustic pollution, cigarettes, chemical, industrial chemicals, heavy metal, contaminated air, exhausted fumes, and herbicides, certain medication, excessive alcohol consumption, and ultraviolet light and radiation coming not only from ionized sources, from non-ionized sources, we are exposed to a lot of free radical formation. If we don't neutralize the excessive free radical formation, that will attack the cell membrane, and that will break the cell membrane, will inflame first in cell membrane, we will not absorb the nutrients, we will not excrete the normal subproducts of the metabolism, and that will cause cellular inflammation. And also will get inside the cells, those free radicals, and they will attack the internal structure, organizational structure at the cellular level, including the nucleus of the cell that contains the DNA. It will attack the mitochondria, which is the power plant of the cell. It has been demonstrated that the mitochondria protection of DNA has been linked to avoiding mutation and also to a healthy aging, because it will prolong our life if we protect the DNA at the mitochondrial level. The latest studies on anti-aging has been focused on protecting the DNA from the mitochondria. If we don't take care of the inside of the cell from that attack, from external sources of free radicals and metabolic sources, that will cause suffocation inside the cytoplasm, leading to cellular dysfunction. It will suffocate also the mitochondria, and that will cause also DNA mutation, potentially leads to cancer, and also cause premature aging and premature cellular death. These are the excess formation of free radical from different sources. How does your body protect against free radical? We know that we have an internal antioxidant defense system, and that has endogenous formation of free radicals that we know, vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin E, etc. But we have also an endogenous formation of free radicals. And inside them, we have the non-enzymatic elements, and we have the enzymatic element, but the most critical out of all of them is glutathione. Without the others, we can be days, weeks, but without glutathione, we cannot be more than 2 minutes. If we don't take care of that proper amount of glutathione levels in our body, and those free radicals formation has an excessive formation of them, and they surpass the natural defense system that we have, then will be an imbalance in favor of metabolic and environmental sources of free radicals that they are harmful to our cells. And the antioxidant defense system, it will be unbalanced in relation with that excessive formation, and that unbalance over time is the term called oxidative stress that will lead to cellular inflammation. The term used when our antioxidant defense system is overwhelmed by excessive formation of free radical is what we call oxidative stress. Oxidative, as you know, glutathione is a tripeptide. It's 3 amino acids that they join together and they form the molecule of glutathione. It's the most abundant antioxidant in our cells, in our body, naturally produced for our body, and develop over 450 functions, 15 of them critical. One of them is natural cell protection and protect the mitochondria, detoxify our body, and protects, modulate, maximize immune system, and reduce cellular inflammation. This is a cycling of formation of glutathione. When they donate electron, they will be without that electron. They join to another molecule, glutathione, that has a missing electron, and cysteine came. And when that came, that helps to recycle itself, the molecule, but also helps another in exogenous antioxidants like vitamin C, vitamin E to stay active as a glutathione. This is the natural process of how glutathione is mobilized to combat oxidative stress, and how the different amino acids joins in the step 1, and then finally the cysteine came and formed the actual molecule of glutathione. When we're exposed to oxidative stress, glutathione levels deplete, and that activates the normal auto-recycling process of glutathione by activating an enzyme that helps to recycle glutathione. Cysteine is the most critical amino acid in the formation that determine the rate formation of intracellular glutathione. And glutathione actually responds to that cellular damage and oxidative stress. And the intention by enhancing glutathione level is reestablish the balance between the metabolic and environmental free radical formation and antioxidant defense system. And that's what we want, restore the balance. And that's what we would like to transmit today, that we are here to promote a healthy lifestyle by restoring the balance between our normal antioxidant defense system, which is glutathione, the master of them, and the attack, inevitable attack of free radical by living in the modern society. Why detoxification is important? Remove the harmful substance from our body. Accumulation of them causes toxicity. The process is called detoxification. Detoxification reduces at the same time glutathione level because they have a property that is called glutathione conjugation. They have this hydroxide group, and that sulfur is a sticky molecule that actually attach to toxin chemical drugs and take it out of the cell through a complex that initially has a lipo, it's a fat soluble complex, and convert it after metabolized with glutathione in hydrosoluble process. And that's how the body eliminates or detoxifies the pollutants and the chemical load that we're exposed in the cell on a daily basis. This is a second way to express glutathione attached to the toxin, form a combined complex on glutathione and toxin that decompose, and through a removal process that converts to liquid soluble, it will be eliminated through the pathway of the kidneys, etc., and the digestive tract. This is the explanation that explains why the different causes reduce glutathione level and what motivates the supplementation of glutathione. And we know that as we age, and by being exposed to a lot of environmental and metabolic sources of glutathione, that will cause a depletion of glutathione because the oxidized stress. And that justifies that we have to optimize the level of glutathione, understanding that the role that they play in our body. As we see, glutathione start depleting after 20 years old. It's 1 or 2% per year, and it says 12 to 15% per decade. There's over 194,000 articles. Difficult to raise by itself. Doctors still think that glutathione presentations out there are those that only will be destroyed by the acids in the stomach, in your GI tract. But there is a lot of new technologies available, including the one that we present today, that helps to keep and preserve intact not only the precursors, the actual molecule, using the latest technology that we have. By the other hand, the latest way to apply glutathione, as people know out there, would be through IV. But people, they didn't know that actually IV glutathione is very expensive. They know between $200 to $600 treatment, but only reach the peak in 3 hours, 90 minutes. And after 3 days, there's no optimal level of glutathione. It's very low in the blood level. Perform over 400 functions, 15 of them critical: cell protector of the mitochondria, DNA, neutralize free radicals, reduce cell inflammation. Also, I want to show you that it actually slows down the aging process of cell, tissues, and organs. And this is very important. I was impressed when Steve mentioned that thanks to glutathione, we are able to transfer, capture and transfer and allow the oxygen to be utilized by the cells, because it's responsible for, is the only sole preparator, or is the only agent capable to reduce a form of the hemoglobin inside the blood. We know hemoglobin is responsible for transfer oxygen, capture and transfer oxygen from lungs to any cell in your body. Well, the only agent capable to do the reduction from hemoglobin 3 to hemoglobin 2, and mainly the iron, which is one of the minerals that we have in the blood, is glutathione. It's the only responsible reduction agent from hemoglobin positive 3 to hemoglobin positive 2, and that reduction stage of hemoglobin is capable to bind with the oxygen molecule and transfer from the lung to every cells in our body. Now we know that also is one of the functions that we have is the one that protects, modulate, but also boosts the immune system, and that's when it's responsible for accelerate the T and B reproduction of the cells in our body. in front of any viral bacteria, parasites, attacks. It's a sole protector of the mitochondria. And we know that it's more powerful than vitamin C and helps vitamin C, vitamin E to stay active as exogenous antioxidant. This is what happens in our body when we're exposed to different sources of free radical infections, different kinds, autoimmune disease or unknown etiology. The final biochemistry or biochemical formation is ROS, radical oxygen species, because we mentioned before that those free radicals depending from oxygen are 65%, oxygen is 65% of the body composition. That's why that's the ending result of any aggression in our body. Guess what? If we don't treat that excessive formation of ROS, that is radical oxygen species, could be from hydrogen, could be from nitrogen, but this is the main source, that will lead to a sequence of chain reactions that will end in inflammation. And that's what is happening at the cellular level. What we're going to do now is show you the order of response or first responder in our body in front of infections or known etiology and also autoimmune disease. The first one that comes out and gives the face or fight against to the free radical excessive formation is ROS scavenger. And these are glutathione as the main protector. Glutathione and the other endogenous antioxidants like superoxidase, dismutase, catalase, curcutane, etc. But they are the first one. That's why we have to be conscious on focus on optimizing the first line of defense. Because when we do that, we are avoiding the excessive production of free radicals, that imbalance between the free radical formation and our normal defense system, and that open hands that lead to an imbalance, and that imbalance over time will be called oxidative stress. Then there is a lot of elements that participate in the protection in our cells, but there it's like fighting a professional boxing. Do you want to win for no presentation or just in the first round? And that's what we're trying to do here. Beating to the first element, the first guardian of the cell, or wait to go through a whole 9 rounds. And if you survive, you will be in bad shape. Well, this is what is going to happen at the end. Well, you have to wait and wait to have cellular inflammation when you can prevent the formation of the element that cause the excessive formation of free radical, which is glutathione and the internal antioxidant defense system. Glutathione benefits you already knew. It protects us and create a very restorative sleep, reduce cellular inflammation, improve energy level, improve mental clarity and mental focus. Also do a better performance and faster time recovery. It will significantly improve any inflammation if you have in your muscle and your joint, protects, detoxify the liver, and improve your mental clarity and function, and slow down, stop, and if it's in some cases revert definitely the aging process. Glutathione articles in the last 100 years, we see that it's 194,000. 2018, we were surpassed with vitamin C, but today we have over 100,000 articles more than vitamin C and vitamin E. These are the reference on PubMed, the National Library of Medicine, where you can go through when you type the different names of the antioxidants. And we did a little correlation on COVID that we're at that time 319 today that relate the importance of glutathione in that pandemic situation. And there are studies here that relate the importance of enhanced glutathione to actually help with the inhibition of a proliferation of COVID and basically blocking the viral RNA synthesis of glutathione, synthesis of the virus inside the cell. I remember the efficacy of a glutathione therapy relieving the lack of breathing, in this case dyspnea associated with COVID infections, because the function at the cellular level helping to capture the oxygen and transfer in the blood to the cellular level. And N-acetylcysteine, one of the precursors of glutathione, was good also at that time. We have this study from Alexei Polonikov that says the endogenous deficiency of glutathione was responsible for most likely cause of serious complication and death in patients with COVID. Yeah, I think there will be a great approach at that time finally the scientific community realized that supplementation of glutathione should be adjunctive therapy on COVID-19 patients. There is over 100 conditions associated with glutathione. I will focus today, and there are only 5 minutes to finish the presentation, to my specialty, but in other rhinolaryngologists, mainly in hearing disorder, presbyacusis, which is called hearing loss due to the aging process, is actually due to non-aging, is oxidative stress, chronically, that we have been experienced for over time by just depending from oxygen, and the proper term that we should call is oxidative stress, not aging. Sudden hearing loss, Meniere disease, tinnitus, vertigo, those are the most basic element. What is causing those symptoms and conditions are an excessive production of free radicals known as oxidative stress. Other pulmonary condition, neurological condition, ophthalmological condition, and different specialties are linked to oxidative stress and low level of glutathione. Do you know that 15% of the world population have hearing loss? 75% of adults with hearing loss are less than 65 years old. And they could be benefited, by the way, 95% with what I do, help patients to hear better through hearing aids. But in this case, we hear through 3 different areas that we have in the ear: outer ear, middle ear, and inner ear. And when we do the studies of different causes of hearing loss, we have inside the cell something called the cochlea that hosts over 30,000 hair cells that vibrates, and they are the ones responsible for sending signal to the brain. And it could be a lot of causes of hearing loss, blockage on the outer part and middle part of the ear. But we are going to focus today in the inner ear, which is called sensorineural hearing loss. And aging process that we know now, oxidative stress, noise exposure, trauma, illness, medication, the final responsible of these conditions is an excessive production of free radical dependent from oxygen, ROS. And I was so excited when I finally found no medication that treat cure eradicate hearing loss, but a supplementation that focus on target the initial step of formation of excessive production of free radicals and counteract that excessive production, restore the balance, is when we finally see significant improvement in these conditions. I remember when I studied hearing loss and the consequence of non-treating hearing loss is increasing, according to Johns Hopkins. Even mild hearing loss, you can have up to 200% risk of develop cognitive decline, like Alzheimer's, dementia. Also increase the risk of losing balance and falling, costing almost $45,000 per fall to our patients, causing isolation, depression, anxiety, fatigue. And I start looking for relation between hearing loss and oxidative stress, and I found that it's 937 articles that validate the importance of paying attention to oxidative stress in patients with hearing loss. 937. Then I get to a relation between hearing loss and glutathione, 247. And then we keep searching and capture my attention. I have been devoted the last 30 years to help patients with tinnitus, which is it's a symptom that actually is generated by the brain. And now that we have neuro, it's a perfect combination between NutriSwitch and neuro to counteract the excessive production of free radicals and trying to calm down the brain from that phantom noise that we hear, but we normally don't have any external auditory source that makes a tympanic membrane vibrate. It's a sound definitely generated by the brain. And there are over 10 to 15% of the global population, about 700 million people, suffer from tinnitus. In America, is about 50 million, but it's actually, tinnitus is the perception of the noise in your ears without having an external sound source that is stimulating the cochlea or sending signals to the brain. It's basically because the deterioration between the neural connection between the inner ear and your brain, and they're not fighting in the normal amount that they're used to do, and the lack of the normal communication in quantity and quality between those neural connections, that causes that the brain is missing that information that has been used to hear for a long time and actually get electro hypersensitivity and generate that phantom noise that is called tinnitus. That is known because today there is a lot of celebrities that has been affected by this condition. And we know, for example, Huey Lewis, this famous musician that had to retire because of tinnitus, is Eric Clapton, Barbara Streisand, Lisa Minnelli, Ozzy Osbourne. But the one that captured my attention was Ken Taylor. Ken Taylor is actually the CEO of the Texas Roadhouse. He suffered COVID. He developed a roaring tinnitus. And that roaring tinnitus, after getting the vaccine, got worse, and he commits suicide. It's part of the, unfortunately, 3% of the population that commits suicide. This is a normal reaction of your brain when you hear a sound in control group. But the second picture is how it affects the entire brain, because the electro hypersensitivity that actually fire to different areas, affecting your quality of life significantly. When it stimulates the sound on the temporal bone, that's a normal reaction. But when you have a tinnitus, it's an electro hypersensitivity at that level that affects the frontal lobe, affecting decisions, also other areas responsible for making decisions, mental focus, quality of sleep, emotions. Is definitely an electro hyperstimulation that is affecting patients to the point that the brain is at the verge of insanity. It's getting weird, the brain, and actually 1 or 3% of patients suicide. Finishing with this, it's really important to know that impact of tinnitus is real, and there is a lot of validation that talks about sudden, for example, hearing loss that can lead to a relation between lack of glutathione and these symptoms that is affecting a lot of patients. You can be normal, and next day you can be without hearing at all, and also with tinnitus. There is a relation between tinnitus and oxidative stress, about articles that you can read on PubMed. Using nanosite glutathione, I like it because for the first time I can treat the cellular inflammation. We're not intended to treat, cure, eradicate disease, but doing that, it will help us to neutralize the oxidative stress responsible for the origin of tinnitus. Like, we have 19 results in PubMed that validates what I'm saying. And there is also studies that assess the state of the natural antioxidant deference system in patients with tinnitus, promoting the consumption of antioxidants, especially glutathiones, to protect cells from this severe symptom. How studies promote that also conditions like Meniere's disease that has different symptoms like pressure in your ear, hearing loss that is fluctuating, tinnitus, and also vertigo, those symptoms has been significantly improved by using a free radical scavenger, like glutathione. And it's the latest treatment in nowadays in this specific situation. And there are other studies that establish a relation between symptoms like vertigo and glutathione. We're going to mention really quick that we were exposed in the last 17 years to all era of encapsulated precursor of glutathione, and I saw a significant improvement in my patient with these conditions. But there was a significant problem here. That was the time that takes to have it bioavailable, that takes to be having a cellular utilization inside the cell, because we use the old era that is a GI tract. It takes time to appear, it's a slower absorption, it's insecure, it's unpleasant taste, has been destroyed by the acid on the stomach, is metabolized in the liver, etc. It's like going through from A to B in a pair of roller skates. I have patients that capture my attention. At that time, I was able to help a friend that has a sensory neural hearing loss, and surprised me how at 6,000 cycle, he improved 50 decibels after 3 months taking supplementation that were a precursor of glutathione. But the time, you have to say to the patient, you have to take a minimum 3 months to see a significant. I have other patients that find a significant relief from the tinnitus stress level that is from 0 to 10, being 10 unbearable. This lady find a significant improvement down to 0 and stay like that after taking this supplementation for 3 months. Now I give you the welcome to the new era that is nanosite glutathione, using an instant absorption using the sublingual plexus. And that allows us to have a takeoff time absorption that is 30 seconds to be in your heart, and the heart will pump the 5.5 liter of blood every minute, having only bioavailable. The main thing that it will have cellular utilization between 60 to 70 seconds, and that's huge for this way to promote enhancing glutathione method, because it's going to boost like never before intracellular level of glutathione and see faster results. That's what we want, because this is immediately intracellular bioavailability and cellular utilization with good flavor, rapid absorption, and it doesn't have to go through the GI tract and be metabolized by the liver. This is like going through a jet fighter, the latest generation, the F-35, or even the new one that is coming out. Capture my attention how I start combining both supplementation, not only the switch or the Nutri-Switch, but neuro, because remember, the conditions that I'm treating are due to oxidative stress in this important sensory neural organs like ears, but also the brain, and there are communications in between. For the first time, we can have a synergistic effect by combining both. This is the lady that has an accident vehicle, and this vehicle accident forced her to have over 100 X-rays, 29 MRIs, and she developed a significant oxidative stress that leads to unbearable tinnitus, hearing loss, and we helped her with that combination in less than 24 hours. After 6 weeks without sleeping, she was able to sleep, to have a better quality of life, and she's very healthy. Conditions like geographic tones in 24 hours after being treated by several ear, nose, and throat during 2 years, find a significant improve. And that's something that I was really fortunate to see personally. Patient that has vertigo, the same thing, 72 hours. I mean, I have been seeing miracles with this supplementation. Tinnitus that you see here, the tinnitus handicap inventory, that we're 92 points. This is a catastrophic tinnitus. After 2 weeks, went down to 0. And these are patients that I have been helping. This is another significant testimonial that you can edit when you finish this presentation. It's a kid that during Christmas has a pyrotechnic fire burn. Look at this, day 1. I started mentioning that this combination of products and this new approach at the most elemental level allow me to see results in 5 days. I did it with this patient. Look at this, saying 5 days. And when I checked before and after, and when I did his hearing test, thanks God he was normal. But this is a very significant and very disruptive way to promote glutathione intracellular and results like never before. Also, my mom has an accident. I had to flew back to Cuba to rescue her, but during the meantime, they start applying the one that we normally take via GI tract that was switched, and they put it with cottons over her hematomas. She takes blood thinner medication. It will take 3, they say even up to 6 weeks to see what I saw on her. After 5 days, but 4 of them using the skin product, that's my mom results. That's a significant difference in 5 days. That's why I call the 5-day product. But you saw that we can have it between minutes to weeks instead of months. And finally, I would like to remember that what makes us different is that we're using a vehicle that has nanosite ultra pure water. And the main body composition, 62% is water. And water is invited inside the cell, different to other form of presentations like fat, lipids, in this case, same thing, powder, phytofactors, pills, tablet, etc. And by doing that, we are using a vehicle that is called hydrostatic nano-delivery. If you pay attention to here, the way that you measure the purity of water is in mega ohms. The most pure water that we have is the one that they use to clean the electronic board on cell phone, computer, etc. It's 18.2.3 mega ohms. The IV is 18.2, but the one that we have in hydrostatic nano-delivery is 17.59 mega ohms. That means what we're putting under our tongue is more pure than the one that they inject intramuscular. That is 50 mega ohms. That's very important because we have the fastest way to deliver, not only because we make a significant reduction about 0.01 to 0.1 micrometers. To have an idea, that 0.1 to 0.1 micrometer is equivalent to 10 to 100 nanometers. In nanotechnology, is anything between 0 to 100. Well, we are between 10, that's the diameter of the cell opening, and the cell is actually 100 nanometers. Well, we are between that, even less. And then what we're doing, we are focusing not only the concentration of milligram of glutathione, we are focusing the contact of surface area. Our cells are only capable to absorb through the section that the molecule can touch. If we have the 200 times greater surface area of contact compared with other presentation, the nanosite particles, as you see in this presentation that is animated, actually will be absorbed, bioavailable, and utilized by the cells between 60 to 70 seconds. That's hydrostatic nanodelivery. It's faster hydration, nanoparticles that have been delivered inside the cells through nanocluster. And because we use water, water is invited inside the cells. That's why we have the most disruptive method to absorb key ingredients, have been nanosized, and they are like a Trojan horse inside water molecule, taking key ingredients, including glutathione and other important elements to protect your sensory neural organs, like my specialty ears, but other like the skin, eyes, heart, lung, etc. We're going to wrap this presentation, and remember what makes us different is the nanotechnology, that we actually nanosize between 10 to 100 nanometers, making bioavailable instead of 45 to 4 hours, 45 minutes to 4 hours. That takes through GI tract. We do it between 30 seconds from the sublingual plexus to the heart, and 60 to 70 seconds to be cellular utilized inside the cells. NutriSwitch, what is intended with all the ingredients using ultra pure water. Also, the method of administration that I recommend will be taking advantage of the maximum peak of absorption of 4 p.m. You can use anywhere between 12 to 8 p.m. And you can do also a free demand if you have any activity. Numia skin, the same thing, using hydrostatic nanodelivery. It will help you to deliver key ingredients using this new approach of faster absorption and faster bioavailability and unparalleled cell utilization between 60 to 70 seconds in the skin, which is the largest organ in your body. Neuro, as you know, right now has been created as an innovative product that supports the brain health regarding cognitive function, has key ingredients that support different areas in your brain. Is the only product that has been part of less than a dozen, less than half of a dozen supplements approved by the American Brain Council, including Switch and Neuro. These are the ingredients like antioxidant defense support, cognitive enhancement, and mental energy, reducing inflammation, neurotransmitter support, and cerebral blood supply. All of that create a synergistic effect that will set us apart compared with other brain supplementation. Nano reduction, extended surface coverage area, instant absorption through nano ingredients, immediate intracellular bioavailability, but mainly cellular utilization. That will allow us to have swift results, and everything powered by hydrostatic nanodelivery. And what we're intending with NutriSwitch, Neuro, and Numia Skin is that you feel better, looks better, and perform better at the speed of a hydrostatic nanodelivery. Thank you for your attention.
Hola, hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estáis, familia? Espero que estéis muy bien. Aquí os manda un saludo Marco Boix desde Alicante, España. Lo primero de todo quería hoy en este espacio pues compartir un poco mi trayectoria, mi experiencia en Newme desde que hace 2 años empecé en esta actividad y quería compartiros que bueno, yo desde siempre he sido emprendedor, he sido empresario desde los 18 años y hace justo 2 años un buen amigo de Panamá, Alfredo, me comparte una información de que estaba utilizando una tecnología nueva de absorción, de suplementación. Me hablaba de glutatión, de nanotecnología. Yo en ese momento no había escuchado nunca la palabra glutatión y decido evidentemente de informarme y de probar esta tecnología, ya que pues es un amigo de mucha confianza y decido de probar. En ese proceso, bueno, pues empiezo también a investigar, a ver vídeos, a ver documentación que voy encontrando por internet y alguna información que me pasan. Y en ese proceso estoy viendo algún vídeo de algún médico, por ejemplo, recuerdo el vídeo del doctor Luis Miguel Valdés, en el cual hablaba de cómo pues lo había utilizado también con su hijo, en ese sentido, para mejorar la salud de su hijo. Y en ese proceso yo tengo una situación con mi hija, una situación de salud grave. Y bueno, y decido de probarlo con ella y para hacerlo corto, el resultado fue realmente extraordinario, ¿no? Y cuando veo esto cómo sucede, pues decido, evidentemente, como es lógico, compartirlo con algunas personas de mi entorno, de una forma orgánica y con clientes míos, con amigos, con personas que son cercanas. Y veo cómo esas personas también tienen una mejora increíble también en su salud, ¿no? Y esto evidentemente pues me hace pensar que esto no es un producto normal, que es un producto extraordinario. Y lo que he hecho principalmente en este proceso de estos 2 años ha sido pues a las pocas personas con las cuales he hablado y les he compartido esta información, darles eso sí mucho soporte, mucho apoyo, mucha ayuda para que consigan también unos buenos resultados. Y en este momento, bueno, pues después de 2 años tengo consolidado el rango de doble diamante. Y para mí lo más bonito, lo más importante también es que ya tengo 7 diamantes dentro de la organización y un doble diamante que acaba de calificar hace muy poquito tiempo. Muchas personas también que están a punto de conseguir el diamante y rangos importantes. Y la verdad que no puedo estar más satisfecho, no puedo estar más contento y más feliz de ver que estamos impactando la vida, la salud de las personas y que tenemos realmente una tecnología y un producto extraordinario. Y realmente yo os invito a todos a que hagáis un poco lo mismo, pues simplemente os deis la oportunidad de probar esta nueva tecnología, esta suplementación, y que cuando veáis el impacto que tiene en vosotros, en vuestra salud y en vuestro entorno, pues que hagáis como estamos haciendo todas las personas del equipo, compartirlo con otras personas para volver a mejorar la salud y la vida de las personas. Lo dicho, para mí es un placer hacer esta actividad, es una actividad que me llena de satisfacción poder ayudar a las personas a que mejoren su salud y también, ¿por qué no?, que mejoren su calidad de vida y su economía también gracias a la oportunidad que nos ofrece Newme. Así que os mando un saludo a todos, espero veros pronto en los eventos y en diferentes reuniones que podamos hacer y lo dicho, os mando un saludo desde España, espero que estéis súper bien. Chao, chao, hasta la próxima.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. What an incredible day this has been. And we're not done quite yet. Thank you, Marco, for that wonderful testimonial in Spanish. It's so cool to hear people's experiences in their own language. When we went to Europe, we had the translation devices and we got to, Chris conducted a panel and he was conducting the panel in English and each one of the panel members spoke a different language. So we had a French speaker, a Polish speaker, a Hungarian speaker, and a Spanish speaker all on one panel, and everyone listening in their own language. And it was so cool to hear people share their experiences in their own tongue. And so thank you, Marco, for that. And thank you to the doctors. That was an incredible event. I just want to put a reminder out there. So this event is closed to it's not open to the public. And before each of those videos, it says we have an FDA disclaimer that says this product is not intended to treat, cure, or diagnose any diseases. This event is meant to stay private, right? So we do our best to stay compliant, but sometimes doctors get really excited and talk about some things that might not be the best to share publicly. And so I would ask you that if you were recording or something, that some of these slides that may not be as compliant and don't always have the disclaimers once they're out and open to the internet, might come under some regulative scrutiny without those disclaimers. So this was a private event, and we had the privilege of hearing some incredible things, right? Our product saves lives. Our product helps people. Our product helps people with everything that we're afraid of, right? And some things we can say and some things we can't. And we had the privilege today of hearing some incredible things that might not be totally appropriate for the public view. We want to protect our company, but we wanted you guys to also see how incredible our product really is. And I just want to thank you guys for sticking with us. We have a lot of attendees here right now, and this is just one of 3 sessions. We have the afternoon and the evening session. So feel free to attend those starting at 3 o'clock Mountain Time and at 8 o'clock Mountain Time. So thank you to all the doctors. You know, we have something that everybody wants, and that's something that can provide a healthier, longer life with more energy and more vigor. And what an incredible week we've gone through so far. And it's only Tuesday. We have some incredible things tomorrow that I will mention after this next presentation. So now that we've heard so much about this incredible product and the glutathione and the improvements that we have coming, let's see where the magic is made, where standards meet science. We're going to get a tour from our very own Bert Wanacott and the science team. So let's bring them in and have the tour. We'll see you guys in a minute.
Hi, I'm Bert Wanacott, and I'd like to welcome you to a chance that I have to be able to show you how we do what we do. This is where science meets precision, and this is where we care, and we have compliance, and we have clean technology. Behind me lies the foundation of our processes. Production occurs under strict CGMP, state, federal, halal, and other certifications and protocols. One of the things that's fun for me is to see how this works each and every day. We're going to try to make it as simple as we can. We're going to try to do everything we can to at least show you the things that we can show you. Unfortunately, we can't give you the very most important parts of our process because those are trade secrets. But first of all, it starts with ultra pure water. What do we mean by that? Let's talk about what's directly behind me, and that's our water treatment system. This system removes the impurities at the ionic level, making our water ultra pure and ultra reactive. That allows us to be able to use that water with our optimized molecular sized particles in creating a product that has no peer. We use regular tap water, city water that comes from the standard pipes. The EPA says it's clean, but of course it has more things in it than we want to even come close to. We run it through a micron filter, taking out particles. We then run it through a reverse osmosis system that removes all of the impurities. As you can see by the gauge, we start with water that has as much as 130 to 150 parts per million, and the end side of that is 1 part per million. So we have now cleaned it to a point where we can start using it. We take that and run it through ion tanks that take out the ions that may still be left. And then from there, through our UV reacting filters that kill any of the other bugs. This system continually recirculates 24/7, so the water is continually polished, as they say. And part of that polishing makes sure that we have a purity that is more than what is necessary in most cases. The purity of water itself is measured by the amount of energy it takes to run a current through it. The dirtier the water, with things in it that would conduct the electricity, is a lower number. As you clean it up, it becomes higher and higher. As we get to the highest levels, about 18.2 mega ohms, we find that that is cleaner and cleaner and cleaner. You can see by our standards, we're using water that is upwards of 17.5, 17.7, close to the 18 mark. Just to give you an idea of that, medical IVs are between 11 and 14 megohms. So you can see that we are much purer. And that's one of the reasons why we have such success in providing such great products. You can see here that we're filling a tote. We're basically running our process through the reactor and then into our disposable totes. These things fill at a rate of about 17 to 20 gallons per minute, and it takes us about 45 minutes to run 300 gallons into a full tote. Those totes are sent to our bottler where the bottling takes place and we get a final product. I want to take a minute and show you what it looks like after we go through that whole field. This is a complete tote of our product. 300 gallons of what we consider as the finest ingredients that we could deliver for you. Now, as you notice, we have bottles here that we pull as samples on each one of our totes. We do purity testing internally. We send that same sample to an outside lab to do purity testing. And our bottler takes one more sample. He does his purity testing and then bottles our product. And we end up with a fourth purity test to make sure that what goes in the bottle is something that is pure and a great product. Once we've taken care of the ultra-pure water, the next thing that we use is high-grade ultra-pure ingredients. Because of our process, we use a lot less ingredient, allowing us to be better and cleaner in terms of our input. The other thing that happens because of that, we can afford to use better and stronger and more important chemistry than would be normally used in traditional supplements. Now we're going to take you back to where the magic happens. I'm going to introduce you into the clean room, and you can see some of the steps that we go through when we make the product that we make. But before we do, I want to introduce you to two essential people here that help us in everything we do in the lab. Alessandra, can you tell them what you do in the lab?
Okay, first of all, my name is Alessandra and I am the Director of Global Operations here at NUMMI. I have been here for about almost 6 years, and I help with production. I help mixing the raw ingredients and make sure that they go correctly to the tote.
Tell them what you do here.
Oh, what don't I do? Let's see. I weigh up ingredients, I help with production, I do research and development for new products. I help make new products possible by doing research. I do a lot of things. Basically, I just help Bert get things done.
Okay, we're all gowned up. We're going to go into the clean room. Now you find us in the clean room. This is where the real work happens. Clean because the air has been filtered with HEPA filters. Clean because there are regular disinfecting steps. We have it this clean because there are so many things that are important. Generally, I would have a face mask on. The only reason I don't is because we're filming today. But the whole concept about a clean room is that it meets federal and state CGMP, current good manufacturing processes, and that we can have the certifications we need to give you the finest products. We have our halal, our kosher, and other certifications. We track everything that comes through. We measure everything that comes through. We create build sheets on every single tote that we make, so we know we have a consistent product. All of this is designed so that you get the very best from us. Now we start with ultra pure water and ultra pure materials, but some of you don't understand how fine they can be. I have here our glutathione. It's one of our favorite stories around here. I'm going to pour this out to give you an idea of how fine it is. It's like baby powder fine. It makes a mess. I usually wear it home when I work. My wife always knows when I've been in the middle of production because my shoes are white, my pant legs are white. But all of this is designed to give you the very best products possible. As you can see, we've got a number of pieces of equipment that are the highest and finest that we can get. All of this is designed to have you get the best product that we can possibly manufacture. Hey, thanks for joining us on our behind-the-scenes look at our facility. We hope you leave with confidence in our process, our standards, and our purpose. We want to make sure that you see that we do the very best every day to make sure your product is exactly what we want it to be.
Well, thank you guys so much. That was, I was getting a little emotional watching that, just seeing where we've come as a company and our finalized product and all the testing that it goes through, and Alessandra and Bert who have been here for so long, and Ethan, the new addition to the team. It was so cool to see. Yeah, I see a lot of people here that are saying, you know, they've been throughout this journey, and just watching that production video and giving a full tour to all of our members is really honestly something special. And it's just been, you know, a dream come true working through all this with everybody. The great thing about this format is that we have prepared a lot of content, and there is so much more that's going to be released on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We're only on day 2, and everyone's asking, can we get this material? Can we get this content? Can we get this? And that's the beauty of a virtual event, is that we worked so hard to create all this virtual content that we will have all of the content we could ever want to share for the next year. So expect to see a lot of these videos available for you to share to your teams online. All of them will be compliant. And so the answer is yes, you will have access to what you're seeing. And it's really going to help, like Aaron said yesterday, ignite momentum. So thank you guys so much for joining us. What an incredible day. I learned a lot. I hope you guys did. We're going to hear in a minute from one of our diamonds, Anita Zapata, and she's going to give us her testimony, and then we're going to see you guys either in the next section if you have team members jumping on at 3 o'clock, or tomorrow morning bright and early. We're going to be going into some PRP updates. You guys are going to really like what you hear and see in PRP. We're going to have some training from some of our top leaders, compensation plan, how to build your business. You're not going to want to miss it. It's going to be incredible. So thank you so much. It's been an honor being with you guys today. And we will see you tomorrow bright and early for much more training and new releases. So everyone have a wonderful day, and let's end with this. Before we play that video, I'm like my dad, I forgot I have the to announce the winners of the whatchamacallit. The dad.
I know. This show repeats tonight.
I know. My dad comes in and opens the door and stares at me like I'm not talking to everyone, you know, to 500, you know, to 1,000 people live, and he's just sitting there waiting for me to acknowledge that he's sitting here on something that I already announced that he must have missed. So that's just how it works in the Scott household, I guess. So let's announce the 2 winners. We have Stelenos, I'm going to butcher someone's name again, Stelenios Vasilakis. They won a Numi swag item, and Andres Pataki is won the $100 gift card. So, or not gift card, the $100 cash prize. So We'll be doing drawings every day, and someone asked, how do you win? Just by purchasing your ticket, you have entered the raffle. So if you're here at the event, you are entered to win. So don't worry about that. You don't have to do anything else. So thank you guys so much, and let's hear from Anita. And congratulations to all the 1-stars. We are doing recognitions of each rank as the days go on. So tomorrow we're going to have recognition for the 2 stars, and then 3 stars, and so on. So congratulations. Everyone drop a 1 in to say congratulations to everyone who hit 1 star. Thank you guys so much. This has been an incredible event. Congratulations to all the 1 stars. That was a long video. We had a lot of rank advancements this year. So congratulations to everyone. Let's hear it from Anita to close us out. Thank you.
Witam serdecznie, nazywam się Anita Zapała, jestem z Polski. Prywatnie szczęśliwa żona, mama 4 chłopców, mam ogromny zaszczyt podzielić się dzisiaj z Wami moją historią i drogą do diamenta w Niumi. Zanim, kochani, osiągnęłam tę rangę, przeszłam taką bardzo trudną drogę swoją życiową. Wiele lat zmagałam się z poważnymi problemami zdrowotnymi. Napotkałam na swojej drodze wspaniałego człowieka, doktora Marcina Sowińskiego. On właśnie zaproponował mi produkty firmy Niumi oraz zlecił wykonanie badania poziomu glutationu. Kochani, jestem pierwszą osobą w Polsce, która zgodziła się wykonać badania, zastosować produkt, nasz glutation Niumi NutriSwish oraz zrobić ponowne badania i je opublikować. To, co odkryliśmy, było dla nas bardzo, bardzo szokujące. Okazało się, że miałam dramatycznie niski poziom glutationu. Mój organizm był w potężnym stresie oksydacyjnym, dlatego tak wiele lat chorowałam. Po zastosowaniu glutationu Niumi NutriSwish po 2 tygodniach zdarzył się prawdziwy cud. Ja odzyskałam siły, ja odzyskałam swoje zdrowie, zaczęłam się bardzo dobrze czuć. To, co dostałam, to nie tylko odzyskanie zdrowia, ponieważ w tej chwili uważam, że dostałam całkowicie nową siebie. Glutation w tej technologii kapsułkowania molekularnego hydrastat w tej maleńkiej cząsteczce niesamowicie wpłynął na mój organizm. Gdy zrobiłam ponowne badania, to, co odkryliśmy, było czymś naprawdę fenomenalnym, ponieważ ja swój glutation całkowicie niesamowity podniosłam aż 3-krotnie. Mój glutation zredukowany podniosłam aż 5-krotnie. Osiągnęłam ideał według medycyny mitochondrialnej. Mój współczynnik wynosił 0,98. Jest to ideał, co pokazuje, że mój organizm radzi sobie teraz ze wszystkim sam. To jest coś naprawdę niesamowitego. Jestem żywym dowodem, jak te produkty działają. Także kochani, to co zrobiłam, to zdecydowałam, że zacznę dzielić się tym produktem z innymi. Podjęłam współpracę z firmą, wyznaczyłam sobie małe cele i konsekwentnie do nich dążyłam. Każdego dnia robiłam coś dla mojego biznesu, brałam udział w różnych zoomach, spotkaniach, szkoleniach, jeździłam na wszystkie eventy. To jest naprawdę bardzo, bardzo ważne. Przełom nastąpił wtedy, kiedy zrozumiałam, jaką wartość przedstawia firma, jak poznałam ludzi, którzy tworzą tą firmę. Od razu zdobyli moje serce i poczułam, że jestem naprawdę we wspaniałym miejscu. Gdy zaczęłam autentycznie dzielić się moją historią, moimi rezultatami, ludzie sami zaczęli do nas dołączać. To jest niesamowite, jak bardzo szybko zbudowałam ogromny zespół. W 4 miesiące osiągnęłam rangę diamenta. To jest dopiero początek. Moim celem oczywiście jest korona. Bardzo konsekwentnie dążę do tego. Bardzo mocno skupiam się na moim celu. Nie przyjmuję mocno do siebie, gdy ktoś mi odmawia. Skupiam się na tych ludziach, którzy powiedzieli tak. Zrozumiałam, jak wiele dobra ten produkt robi dla innych ludzi. I po prostu moim celem jest dzielenie się tym, pomaganie innym ludziom. Bardzo też jest ważne, aby określić swoje dlaczego będziemy robić ten biznes. Moje dlaczego jest bardzo mocno wpisane w moje serce, moim największym marzeniem i dlaczego ja właśnie dążę do tego głównego mojego celu. Jest to, aby mój mąż, który jest marynarzem, już od 20 lat pracuje na statku, aby nie musiał wyjeżdżać, abyśmy mogli być zawsze razem, aby nasza rodzina była razem, żeby nie musiał nas zostawiać. Firma oprócz tego fenomenalnego produktu ma rewelacyjny plan kompensacyjny i ja wiem, że my bardzo szybko zrealizujemy to nasze marzenie, że my odzyskamy właśnie naszą wolność finansową i będziemy mogli być już wszyscy razem. Kochani, to jest wspaniałe miejsce. Bardzo serdecznie zachęcam, jeśli ktoś zechciałby tutaj rozwijać skrzydła, niech do nas dołączy, niech dołączy do tej wspaniałej rodziny Numi. To, co ja tutaj zostawiam każdego dnia, to jest moja inwestycja największa, to moje serce, to jest mój czas. Także tutaj nie inwestujemy żadnych pieniędzy. To jest to, co zostawiamy. To jest właśnie to, że my chcemy dzielić się tym z innymi. I ja każdego dnia przynoszę to z ogromną radością. Dzielę się moim czasem i tym moim sercem, które tutaj właśnie wkładam. I tak naprawdę robię to z ogromną radością, ponieważ taką mam wdzięczność dla produktu, dla firmy, za to, jak bardzo odmieniło się moje życie i chcę nieść to dalej. Uważam, że ta technologia i ten produkt jest ogromnym darem od Pana Boga i naprawdę z poziomu serca dzielę się tym z innymi. Bardzo serdecznie dziękuję za uwagę. Pozdrawiam wszystkich.